Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the German Focke-Wulf 190 D-12. This plane sits at 5.3 battle rating in realistic battle and is the little brother of the D-13. The D-13, of course, the premium version, we flew out about 3 months ago, and that was a very nice experience because at that time they had just reinvented the flight model of the Doras and some of the other Focke-Wulf 190s as well. A whole bunch of planes got flight model updates then, and on the D-13 it felt like it was turning better. The elevator seemed to be fixed on the D-13 at that time. Now, I never flew the D-12 at that time, so I could not check if the same feeling was true for the D-12. But as I flew out D-12 now, I can definitely say that it doesn't feel like the D-13 felt 3 months ago. So that means either one of two things. Either the D-12 was not adjusted like the D-13 3 months ago, or they did something to the change and the D-12 was changed when the D-13 was changed, but has now been reverted back to something more ancient, because this flyout for me felt more like the stiff elevator that the Doras used to have than the fantastic liberating elevator that I felt on the D-13 when I reviewed it 3 months ago. And even though I stated then that it didn't turn it into a turn fighter, but it still felt like a significant difference. And I did not experience this on the D-12. It really felt like the fast arrow in a dive again, like it used to be, and really screwed in any defensive situation because of the bad elevator. Anyway, if you are a dedicated Dora fighter, let me know if you have the same experience. The maximum speed in this plane at sea level without web is 548 and 582 with web. At 4500 meters this is 500 without web and 520 with web. And finally at 6500 meters she'll go up to 463 without web and 491 with web. Now this is not fantastic speed, it is not particularly fast in a straight line at 5.3. The up tiers are brutal, so to speak, but even on its own battle rating there is a lot of planes that are faster in a straight line, so you have to be careful there. The strength of this plane speed wise lies in a dive. The top speed in a dive of this plane is 865 before she redlines and 930 plus before she rips apart. Now that is really good top speed in a dive, and the handling there is decent. Control stiffening in the dive is starting at 550 kilometers an hour and starts to become more severe at 700 kilometers an hour. Now the roll rate is affected in very noticeable ticks, and the elevator, especially in a dive, you have to be careful. That's why I'm also really pulling off throttle here in this encounter as I'm approaching this narwhal. I know that I don't want to crash into the ground here, that would be really embarrassing. So I take it up back into the vertical and go for my second approach here. I also, from the corner of my eye, see the twin Mustang coming in, and I see that's a better shot, so I take that one out first. Take it up into the vertical again with the narwhal, who is injured and doesn't seem to have much energy left, so he is turning. I'll take a little bit into the vertical, roll over with flaps, get the approach right and shoot it out of the sky. Now that's very nice, but with that elevator you have to be careful not to be lured too close to the ground like that narwhal wanted to try to get me to crash into the ground. The control stiffening in this plane, like I said, for the elevator is well, also around 700, where it starts to become dangerous, and that also is sometimes difficult in the dive at the top end of your dive to get guns on target with the elevator as it feels on this one, like the old way, very stiff and difficult to get guns on target at a certain point. So yeah, there is that, and it was not a good experience. The stall speed in the plane is 160 kilometers an hour, which is Quite alright. Firepower in the plane is great. The plane runs with 130mm 108. The plane runs with 130mm Mark 108 cannon with 85 rounds for its gun, and that is supported by two 20mm MG 151 in the wing bases with 220 rounds per gun. The plane can also be equipped by a lot of bomb combinations that you can have your pick from. So if you want that, do that, but I wouldn't do that necessarily. That is a pure waste of a good fighter. Here comes the Spitfires, he's turning. We're gonna take the shot and we're gonna take it out. That's nice. It doesn't always work, of course, sometimes you miss. But if you're shot in a little bit with your guns on your particular plane, then against the Spitfire in this plane, if you do want to make something happen, you gotta hit these deflection shots. That's absolutely clear. If I would not have hit this shot, I should have straightened out the plane and dove straight through and extend. Don't start to turn with that Spitfire. That is absolutely devastating and would have been my death, especially with the stiff elevator it has now. This Anton here, the NC900 that comes up for me here, is already a lower energy than me. He already made some maneuvers for the bomber, and I just pull him up, stall him out. That's what we call a classical stall maneuver here. And I come back here with my flaps out to give me time for the shot. I take him out, classical maneuver, very nice, very easy as well. And I left this in. This is one of the main reasons why I picked this clip. That's an 84. I stayed too long on her. And with red cheeks of shame, I crashed myself into the ground. Now, this is an absolute mistake. I was overconfident and I was greedy, and I thought I could save some time by shooting him down in the head on, then go back to the airfield and then fight the last two people that were alive in that match. It should have been a 7-kill match, but I was so greedy that I fucked it up. And don't do that. The only thing I should have done there, the moment I saw the AD4 turn at me, I should have, it was a kilometer and a half away from me, I should have pulled the nose up, I should have pulled him up, and I should have stalled him out and then flip over. And if he would have followed me, I could have gone into a spiral climb or a climbing corkscrew. You know, there's a lot of things that I could have done there and easily could have killed him. It would have taken 30 seconds longer, but of course no, I had to be greedy. It happens to me. It is a common flaw. Many people do this most of the time. I don't do it most of the time, thank God. It would frustrate the hell out of me. But here I was in a situation where I was overconfident. I had 4 kills under my belt. I was thinking about all the things I wanted to do in that match, and I wanted to get that guy out of the way quickly, making me make that decision. Very bad decision. Don't do it. Anyway, let's continue with the plane, shall we? So the stall speed is 160, which was alright. Great firepower, great ammo load. The acceleration in a straight line is decent to good. In a dive it's good. Energy retention in the horizontal it's great. That's also where one of the main escape routes of this plane is. It is very fast in a dive. Good acceleration there. And the horizontal energy retention is fantastic. So you can dive away towards allies and make sure that you get clear out, or to reset on the base if you need to go there for a repair. In the vertical, this plane is also very good in the energy retention. That is supported by good climb rate, although the good climb rate is not spectacular, but it's good. Can say we critted off the elevator of that guy, and he tries to get home, but we'll get him later. Turn time in the plane though is bad. As I said, the elevator seems to be back to where it used to be. I can confirm it 100% sure, because I did not fly out the D-12 at the time when this flight model was changed, and when I was so enthusiastic about the D-13, it could have been just the D-13, but I would have to ask specialized DORA pilots to ask them if they notice the same difference or not. The flaps can be used, but they don't make it better than bad, unfortunately. Just makes you lose a little bit more energy. The flaps only rip off at 740 though, so that's a good thing, I guess. Roll rate in the plane is excellent though. One of the strengths of the DORAs And the Entons as well, though, the Focke-Wulf 190s in general, excellent roll rate, but the roll rate is a little bit hampered by the lack of elevator. It doesn't give you enough room to make use of the fantastic roll rate. So we're back to that, unfortunately. It really limits the survivability again of this Dora. Maneuverability overall is average. There is no overheating in this plane. You can whip to your heart's content and it won't overheat. Not an issue at all. Durability in the plane is decent. It can take a hit or two. In the form it is now, I used it as a pure boom and zoomer. There's not a lot of shenanigans you can pull in this plane with this elevator. Yeah, it's difficult, and the defensive flying also becomes more difficult. Although, of course, you can try, but that little bit extra on the elevator with the D-13 3 months ago really made it more fun and gave you a bigger chance to survive in difficult situations. Now you're just basically reliant on your roll rate. That wasn't quite clean. Could have done better there in that first encounter with this Corsair. But the Corsair has also very good roll rate. I mean, it's not 190 like, but it is not far off either. But it has a way better elevator on her. And as we go up here, I'm gonna roll and try to force an overshoot as I go to 22 throttle, and you see he's coming closer pretty quickly. Unfortunately though. He takes off my wingtip there, and I do not get the opportunity to turn after him there, unfortunately. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now I really felt a little bit frustrated in the plane. Really felt like there was some kind of ninja nerf to the D-12, although I cannot confirm that 100% because I flew out the D-13 3 months ago and not the D-12, so I cannot make a direct comparison between the two experiences. It just feels to me like this thing is back to its old elevator, and it's just a feeling. Like I said, I can't go into a direct comparison, but those kinds of encounters against the Corsair really made me feel like that. Where is my elevator? The elevator that felt so much more nice on the D-13 3 months ago. But anyway, it is what it is. I hope you more dedicated Dora pilots can give me a little bit of feedback on that if you have had the same feeling lately. All in all, it's a decent plane. It is nothing spectacular. In the sense of speed and in the sense of maneuverability. Now with this elevator it's also nothing more than average, maybe even below average on the maneuverability side. Firepower of course is great, still great at head-ons. The 30 really chews through anything, and the 151s are fantastic as well. There's good speed in a dive, you can escape in a dive, the roll rate is fantastic. There's good performance in the energy retention, and yeah, it's nothing much to complain about, but with that little tweak to the elevator, it just feels to me like it's back where it was, and that is just a little bit frustrating to fly and not competitive against most of the opposition. But hey, that's just me. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.